I rise to speak on the Livestock Management Amendment Animal Activism Bill 2021. The introduction of this bill has been a long time coming. The inquiry into the impact of animal rights activism on Victorian agriculture was tabled in State Parliament on the 5th of February 2020. This inquiry recommended the introduction of the offence included in this bill over 2 years ago, and we are only just getting to this now. Over these 2 years, farmers have been left vulnerable without the same legislative protections that farmers over the state borders have. In both New South Wales and Queensland, fines for breaches of biodiversity were swiftly introduced in 2019. It is our government that has left our farmers wide open, with no protection from individuals who are minded to break through gates and fences to steal the livestock that forms their bread and butter. As we are all aware, in 2019, around 70 activists stormed the Gippy Goat Cafe in Yarragon, where they stole 3 pet goats and 1 kid from its mother who was not yet weaned. These activists snatched and shoved these animals into vehicles under the pretense of liberating them. Now, I watched this unfold on social media over the course of a week or so, and it was quite extraordinary. The activists documented everything on social media, and the public was watching. What shocked me was they took these animals into inner suburban properties, and one image still is like imprinted on my mind of the kid, the baby goat, in a nappy in one of the activists' beds. This was the baby goat that had not even been weaned off its mother. It was pretty weird. That they're herding animals. They don't belong in a person's king-size bed in an inner city suburb. Extraordinary. Wearing a nappy. It's just, it is animal cruelty. So that's exactly it, Ms. Barth. They, say that this is about liberating the animals in order to take them away from abuse. But in fact, what they were doing was abusing the animals themselves. Now, the Gippy Goat Cafe was a much-loved local eatery with a petting zoo that allowed children to feed the goats, and it's one that I actually visited with my family. It was a local business and the bread and butter for a local agricultural farming family. Now, one of the perpetrators was subsequently fined $1 for breaching biosecurity. This set a precedent to other activists that it was okay to trespass and steal farm animals, because that's exactly what they did. They stole them, they did not liberate them. Now, finding number 7 of the inquiry into the impact of animal activism on Victorian agriculture found that the penalties handed out following the trespass at Gippy Goat Cafe did not meet the expectations of many. After months of abuse from activists and hearing of the $1 fine, the owners of the Gippy Goat announced the cafe's closure on Facebook. I too followed this on social media, and I was just absolutely devastated for the owners of Gippy Goat Cafe that they had to shut their business because of this ongoing abuse. This family suffered vile abuse and harassment, like I said, to the point that they closed their doors. They deserve so much more. I will not be opposing this bill today, as the Liberal Nationals have long supported the introduction of these offences and have called out Labor's unjustified delays. Every other state has laws in place, and it is well overdue that Victoria follows suit to protect our farmers. However, there are a number of issues worth highlighting and a number of amendments I will be supporting. If passed, this legislation would allow any person to enter and remain on a licensed frontage, including water frontage, without being subject to these offences. It gives activists a loophole to enter Crown land water frontages where farmers hold grazing licences. Trespassers to property would therefore be exempt from the new offences because that part of the land is not covered by a biosecurity management plan. I believe we should protect the rights of our farmers to farm and control who enters their properties. I therefore support an amendment to this section. My second issue with this bill relates to the penalty units. Farming makes up a significant proportion of the Eastern Victoria region, my region, and these farmers are worthy of protections. As it stands, these fines simply don't come close to their equivalent in New South Wales. In New South Wales, Queensland and South Australia, these offences attract jail time. This is not proposed by this bill. We have already seen the loss of one valuable local business due to these activists and their vile abuse. Given that our legislation is already less stringent, we need to do more to support our farmers and deter this behaviour by activists. I therefore support an amendment to double the maximum fine from the individual from the proposed 10,000 to the 21,000, which would bring us in line with the maximum fine for individuals in New South Wales of 22,000. Thank you.